What is going on, everybody? I'm coming back with another video, and today we're going to be discussing 7 things or 7 facts that you need to know for your next motorcycle road trip. These are things that I've learned in my travels around the country and how they pretty much directly affects your trip, and it's things that you need to know about, especially if you're going to be doing distance travel, multi-state travel. These are some things that you probably want to keep in mind, so let's get into it. So number 1 is going to be time. What I've learned is that, you know, obviously there's a destination in mind, right? And with that, we have to think about, you know, the time consideration. So let's say you're traveling, I don't know, it's like a 400-mile day, and you type it into your little GPS or your phone or whatever app that you're using, and it tells you it's going to take 7 hours, let's just say. In reality, when you're on a motorcycle, you need to add 2 hours to that time frame. So if it says 7, it really means that it's going to take you 9. And on top of that, you're going to need to add 30 minutes per every additional rider. This is consistent as gravity. For some unbeknownst reason, that's how this goes down. And, you know, you need to know that it's going to take you an additional 2 hours from whatever it says when you're on a motorcycle, and then add 30 minutes for each additional rider. Every rider has different, you know, pit stops and things that they need to take care of. Maybe there's some malfunctions on a bike. It's just the way that it is. Moving on. The second thing that I've learned on my trips is that it is quite simply very easy to overpack on a motorcycle road trip. And one of the things that I've learned to work is go ahead and pack pack your bag, you know, your rick-rack system, whatever you have that you're using to get all your stuff. And then I want you to take 50% of it and take it out. Try to find out which 50% you can deal without, because when you're on the road, you know, one, you're going to be doing laundry probably anyway, depending on your you know, the time that you're going to be on the road. So with that being said, there's no point in really packing 6 pairs of jeans because you don't need them. So it saves you a ton of room if you just pack 50%. And if you're on the road and you are in dire straits, guess what? There's always a place you can pick up a t-shirt. And if you're going to a place, the destination, you're going to want one of them anyway. So there's no point in overpacking, but pack a bag and then take 50% out. Trust me, it'll make your life a lot easier. Number 3 is kind of self-explanatory, but that's going to be the weather. You know, if you're doing any type of motorcycle travel, there's no way that you're going to be able to avoid rain in some area. And it doesn't really matter the time of year. I mean, you look at going to Sturgis, right? Almost every year during Sturgis, which is, you know, in August, you're going to have some type of rain or hail that you're going to have to deal with. So you need to plan accordingly. Know that you're going to be hitting some weather. You know, try to time your day out so you can be riding during daylight hours, because that weather, that wind, it's just going to happen. So make that rain gear readily accessible. And this is more for the people that have probably never done it before. So, you know, you're going to run into rain. It just happens. Just accept it. If you can avoid it, great. If not, power through. So number 4 is going to be to remember to pack your sprays. And by sprays, I'm talking about your sunscreens and your, you know, mosquito repellent, because there's nothing worse, especially if you're going to be doing some moto camping, than going out and getting absolutely eaten alive by mosquitoes. For some reason, mosquitoes just tear me up, and it just makes the experience miserable. Nobody likes it. So remember to pack those sprays, because if you forget, it only takes one time and you'll never forget again. So the next thing is going to be hydration. You know, hydration is so important on the motorcycle. Usually during my long distance travels, I'll have a little holder right here, and, you know, I'll keep a big 32-ounce thing of water that I'll use while I'm out on the road, because you're on a motorcycle, you know, you have a breeze, you don't really realize how much you're sweating, and then next thing you know, you're starting to get a headache and you're like, oh, it's probably just my helmet, but it's not. Pretty much you're dehydrated. So always plan to have a little bit more, I guess, hydration than you would think you would need. You know, keep a couple bottles in your tour pack or, you know, saddlebags or something, so that every time you stop, just take a little bit of water. Those headaches in the midsummer time, they sneak up on you. Just trust me. The next thing, when you're out on the road and you're doing a road trip, even if you have just done a maintenance service on your bike, right, all the way around, it is imperative that you're always checking your tire pressure daily and checking your fluids daily. You know, just making sure everything is on the up and up, because for this bike, for some unbeknownst reason, and I know it's not just me, but well, this bike kind of just goes through a little bit of oil, especially when I'm traveling and I've been riding the bike all day long. You know, different elevation changes in the heat, high RPMs. For whatever the reason, I got to make sure that every 2,000 miles I do have, you know, an extra quart of oil with me just in case. So just get yourself a really good tire pressure gauge, keep it in your bag, and just know when you are packing everything up, you are double checking those tire pressures, especially through those elevation changes. So this next one is a little bit different, something that you may or may not have thought about, but it's the difference between planning ahead and booking your stay ahead versus doing it on the fly. I have actually found that if I just kind of pick an area that I would like to go to and not book anything, it's a little bit more enjoyable. I kind of feel like the pressure's off to get there, and if for some reason during, you know, that run of road, whether it be 400, 500, 700 miles, if for some reason at mile 400 I decide, you know what, I'm not going to push at 700, I'm kind of tired from either the activities from the day before, or, you know, it's been several days of riding and I'm sore, I can just pull over at the next, you know, hotel, or find a hotel. You're always going to find a place to stay. And also don't forget about Bunker as well. That's something where you always pull up and see if there's an availability. But it also gives you just that flexibility to really get out here on the open roads and enjoy your surroundings. And there might be a specific area where you're like, man, this would be really cool to see during sunrise, and you decide, I would love to just stay here. If you haven't booked ahead, you don't have to worry about it. And I get that sometimes there's no cancellation fees for places, but sometimes there is. So I found just kind of pick your goal destination spot, and then when you're, I don't know, an hour, maybe 2 hours away, and you know you're going to actually hit it, you know, then you can jump on your phone and book the room, or, you know, the campground, or wherever you decide. But that has made my road trips a little bit more enjoyable when I do it that way. And the last thing I would like to bring up is to have a contingency plan. It's so important. You never know what's going to happen, when there's going to be a failure, or maybe when you blow up your transmission. I don't know. To have a contingency plan on how you can get back home safely. If you're on a time constraint, you know, you want to kind of look at what would happen if, right? Have some flexibility in your time if you're doing it. If you only have 7 days, maybe only make the trip 5 days, so that you can extend it if you wanted to, in case there was a maintenance issue or something that needed to be fixed on the bike. You need to have some type of contingency plan or some leeway on each end. So those are just some of the things that I have learned on the road. There's probably so many different areas that we could touch on that you probably know about to help other riders. So please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I hope you guys are getting ready for an excellent adventure this summer. If you want a little bit of inspiration for that, you can check out this video right here. This is our latest documentary. That's Every Mile of Memory, almost 6,000 miles around the country. Folks, until next time, you ride safe, you be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.